Pay that forward. Give it back to somebody else.
Russo'sBrand.com, where the pros are the pros.
Well, Goldberg was on ESPN this past week, and he said, here's the deal, and here's the news of the day. Per 3 executives, Nick Khan, Chris Legentil, and Paul Levesque, in 2025, Goldberg's having his retirement match. So I think we know who the subject or the victim, probably the front runner. We know who it is. So a lot of speculation. There's Gunther. Goldberg, he's been saying he wants one more match. He wants a retirement match. He wants to go out with one. I think he even said Vince McMahon promised to give him one, and he never got it. So now it looks like they are giving him one. Wrestling retirement matches, it always seems like it's not. They come back all the time. But it seems like this.
It's like somebody dies in a comic book. Goldberg still has that mystique about him, and wisely he is still carried himself in a manner whenever he is in public, on these interviews and stuff, and still putting over Goldberg. So yeah, I think people would definitely, it would have heat, it would draw, especially if it was with Gunther. Gunther would provide enough of a challenge, and there'd be that question as to whether or not Goldberg could pull it off. In spite of, the bad match that he and Taker had over in Saudi Arabia, I think it would still draw. I think now, this is my opinion, I think proper business is Goldberg puts Gunther over in his retirement match. I don't think you put Goldberg over, because Gunther's going forward, and you're going to try to, business-wise, it's just you're returning the favor to by returning the favor to Gunther, you're returning the favor to every single one of those people who built him along the way. If, they decide, or he decides he wants to go over, he's kind of, it's not really giving back what was given to him. He's leaving the territory, meaning he's retiring. So pay that forward. Give it back to somebody else.
Yeah.
Let them have it. And when I mean put him over, I mean put Gunther over. Not have him have to hit Goldberg with 52 things. Let him beat him, and beat him clean right in the middle. Make Gunther. Put him on a different level, which it would. I mean, let's face it. If they do it right and they have Gunther, beat Goldberg, it would put Gunther on a different level. Now you've got a guy, again, we've talked about, that we can use in that main event area to work with so many different people.
Hey, Al, I got to tell you, man, and I don't know if it's me. I really don't. But when they book somebody a certain way, and keep in mind, man, like, I'm from the business, okay? Like, I'm not just a fan watching the business. When they book somebody a certain way, and I think they book them the wrong way, I can never get over so-and-so went over so-and-so. Like, you talk about, okay, bro, if Gunther beats a Goldberg, gets him on a different level. I agree with all that, but I swear out, I don't know if it's me, but it's like, okay, bro, we're going to put Goldberg in. We're going to put Goldberg in there against Gunther. Gunther's going to beat Goldberg, and that's going to put Gunther at a different level. Bro, they beat Gunther with Sami Zayn. And I can't get past that. Like, once they did that, and I'm talking for casual fans at home. When you're seeing a guy like Sami Zayn beat a Gunther, man, I think at that point, to that casual fan watching at home, I think you have hurt that character so much that it's going to be twice as hard to make people believe in him again.
As far as a casual audience, I don't think they're going to remember. Some will, but the majority won't. You can easily, at any point in time, you can literally beat a guy like a drum. Just beat him. And if you turn him around and start pushing him up, they'll go right with him from that point forward. I don't think it would hurt Gunther, but I certainly do believe that if they had maintained
absolutely
all the way,
I agree.
Gunther that much more.
Yeah, exactly.
Against Goldberg. You know, we
Yeah.
talked about that, you know, here was a guy that they were building and building right, that they could then have as a believable opposition to guys like Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. You know, they could utilize him in a lot of different ways, that physically and visually they didn't have other opponents that could do that. And now facing Goldberg, God, they certainly do. If they were to beat Goldberg with Gunther, which again, business-wise, they should. Now you've got Gunther is coming off of that and could make a run at some point in the months down the line against Cody, be a threat. You know,
they just did the same thing again, Al, and I don't understand their philosophy, because what happened was they were building Bronson Reed, you know, when he was giving everybody 5, 6, 7, 8 tsunamis. He puts Braun Strowman through the car, the whole 9 yards, right? And he started he started it by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was the first guy he did it to. So he puts Seth Rollins on the shelf. While Rollins is on the shelf, he's doing this to everybody. Okay. They bring Rollins back, and bro, like I just know, because I know the way they book. Bro, you could have him tsunami the whole roster. You're gonna bring Rollins back, and you're gonna put Rollins over, and then we're gonna be right. That and Al, that's exactly what they did. And I'm like, I don't. When you look at it, Rollins is already over. Rollins is already, you know, a main eventer. You give that guy that win. Now you're, man, Al, I swear the days of the bill.
But let me say this in defense.
Go ahead.
Because I don't, you know, we don't know. It's easy for us, you know, to analyze from the outside, because I deal with this every single week. I mean, literally the last probably 4 weeks. Well, literally since August, okay, I had a certain arc, a certain direction I wanted to go. And circumstantially, it has changed so much. And even the pacing and the you know, trying to maintain that overall direction has resulted in me having to do things that otherwise, really booking wise, I wouldn't do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't, and on the time schedule, I wouldn't have done it. You know, one guy gets hurt. Now I got to change this. Another guy has to leave. Okay, now I got to change this. Okay, now, you know, and it's putting talent in spots that they weren't prepared for, weren't built to do yet, audience wise. You know what I mean? And it's causing me to shift heat off of heels and put it in and put baby faces over before we're at a place where overall I should do that. You know, if I'd have kept my original timeline, I would have had heat for months, you know, until December or January. This whole thing that I started, you know, last year, I started at the beginning of this year. But I really turned up everything in August, and I was going to, you know, just have tons of heat leading into January. And then January, you know, maybe in November, we'd have a hope spot as far as the whole angle was concerned. You know, maybe a baby face would win a significant title back, you know, that would give the audience, oh, we've got a chance. And then I'd take it away. But because circumstantially, people have gotten hurt, people left, one thing after another, I've had to alter that timeline and not do it properly the way that I should.
I just don't think that's the case with them, because it's a pattern that they repeat. Oh, I hear what you're saying, Al. I totally get it. But they just repeat a pattern over and over and over again, where they get a guy right there, and then we're going to beat them. And then it's like, and then they got to start over.
And typically you're right, because WWE or WWF has historically been primarily a babyface territory, meaning the top guy who has the title is a babyface. That's always been pretty much WWE's MO. You know, other territories, the top guy is usually the heel, because now the babyface, there's always more money in the chase, but for whatever reason, that has been historically WWE's MO. You had Bruno, and then you had transitional champions, that heels, Stasiak and Ivan Koloff, and you had transitional heels. Even Graham, as much as Billy Graham drew, Billy was still a transitional heel.
Yeah.
And transitioning right back to another babyface being on top. Literally, Iron Sheik was a transitional heel to go right to Hulk Hogan, another babyface, right on top. If you go back through the history books, that's literally almost, and the ones with the longest runs primarily have been babyfaces. Now, the one that's changed that's been Roman Reigns. That's been the one that's been off formula, has been Roman Reigns. But if you look at the overall historic history, the run of that title, it is primarily a babyface territory.